Dans mon esprit tout divague, je me perds dans tes yeux, je me noie dans la vague de ton regard amoureux. Je ne veux que ton âme divagant sur ma peau, une fleur, une femme dans ton cœur, Roméo. Je ne suis que ton ombre, le souffle lancinant de nos corps dans le sombre, animé lentement. Et la nuit, je pleure des larmes qui coulent le long de mes joues. Je ne pense à toi que quand le jour sombre, que s'abattent sur moi mes tristes démons. Dans l'abîme sans fond, aime-moi jusqu'à ce que les roses fanent, que nos âmes sombrent dans les limbes profondes. Et la nuit, quand tout est sombre, je te regarde danser. Je résonne en baiser le long de ta poitrine, perdu dans l'avalanche de mon cœur égaré. Qui es-tu? Où es-tu? Par les pleurs, par les rires de ton ombre effarée. Je résonne en baiser. Dans mon esprit tout divague, je me perds dans tes yeux, je me noie dans la vague de ton regard amoureux. Je ne veux que ton âme divagant sur ma peau, une fleur, une femme dans ton cœur, Roméo. Je ne suis que ton ombre, le souffle lancinant de nos corps dans le sombre, animé lentement. Et la nuit, quand tout est sombre, je te regarde danser.
Welcome. We are back. What's up, Seek, Dave, Lintiglen, Max, Nerve, AK, Silent Dawn in the chat. Alright. A lot to talk about today. Very quick look at tomorrow and Friday. Shout out to Cheddar Freeze for this economic data. So we have initial jobless claims tomorrow morning at 8:30. We have a couple Fed members speaking in the morning, and they're talking about opening remarks for at the Chicago Payment Symposium, national outlook, monetary policy, and the Fed's role in fostering economic growth. All right, so a few of those going on. Friday, we have average hourly earnings, non-farm payrolls, another FOMC speaker in the afternoon. So pretty standard stuff for Thursday and Fridays, but just to be aware of that. We did see what happened with the jolts yesterday, and let's turn the music down just a little bit. So today we got a bounce. You can see it on the chart right now. This is something I was talking about for the past week on the stream, is getting down to the 200 SMA, the simple moving average. Personally, I just feel that works better than the EMAs, and we did get an initial bounce at the EMAs. The 200 EMA was pretty much this bounce over here. So you did get a bounce there too. But even when we bounced at the 200 EMA, I was still thinking we're going to eventually see the 200 SMA, and that's pretty much the level we got down to yesterday and bounced at today. So we did see some relief in the market. A couple of names really helped out with that. Tesla was up 6% today. If you watched last night's stream, I was talking about this potential inverse head and shoulders. And I'm not even going to lie, I should have looked more into it probably. I saw a lot of people on Twitter talking about this setup going into today, which was a pretty nice inside bar. Basically, that trade is whenever you have a large engulfing candle, and then the next day, all of your price action is within that candle body, you have an inside bar. And once you break above that little zone, which is pretty much where I'm moving my arrow up and down in between, it could set up a nice move to whichever side you break. It's a very classic day trade setup. And Tesla did have that today. Really nice 6% day for Tesla. Not seeing many headlines over here. Tesla stock is surging today. What's going on? Tesla said it produced 430K vehicles, down from 479 in the second quarter. I'm not sure if anything in particular happened today. They also may be benefiting from ongoing United Auto Workers strikes. Been seeing a lot of EVs. I know Fisker did not have a great day today, but a lot of EVs are really outperforming this dip in the market that we're seeing right now. And apart from that, different parts of the market were up. We had AMD up 4% today. It's still testing the breakout of this wedge on the daily. Let's see what else we got over here. Palantir was up 5%. Let me clear up this chart. Pretty big support there at 14 for Palantir. Rivian really been performing very nicely. Was up 9% today. Major bullish engulfing candle. It's making higher lows. So across the board, pretty good day for a lot of different names. We're going to talk about everything. Let's move over to Bitcoin first before we actually talk about the markets. I'll just a quick update on what happened today. But I'm going to break down the full markets, what potentially is going to be happening next, and all that. To start with Bitcoin, this 200-day moving average is pretty much the key test over here. I was watching Mitch Ray's stream earlier tonight, and he was talking about breaking that supply line, pretty similar to how it did over here. So he has a similar range charted, but it's pretty much something like that. And you broke the supply line, you went to the top of the range, you just broke a similar supply line again, testing the 200-day moving average. If it breaks, maybe go back to the top of the range. So we will see. Also, shout out to Mitch Ray. If any of you have been watching the stream for years, I pretty much learned all of this stuff from Mitch Ray. And he's going to be up over here in New York City next week, so it's going to be super cool to see him. Also, if any of you know, I'm pretty sure all of you know Ace the Kid, Jordan on Twitter. Had a great time with him a couple times. He took a trip out to the city this year. He's coming back. Both of them are spending their birthdays in the city. I'm super excited. It's just really cool to have people in the same space as me, in person, because 2 years ago, all this was just online. All these people I knew were just through Twitter and YouTube, and now becoming friends with a lot of them is just the coolest thing ever. So it's gonna be really cool to see them. I'm very excited for that. Ethereum up next, kind of underperforming Bitcoin. Pretty rough bearish engulfing candle. It's not been able to recover since that, and it's much farther below its 200-day moving average than Bitcoin is. Let's talk about bonds for a second because they're going insane. This is something that will potentially align with the dead cat bounce we're about to see in the stock market, okay? This is the first daily bearish candle for the US 10-year in a while, apart from this one, which did not play out. We had a very similar candle. So let me just say, today's candle was pretty much a shooting star. Not the best placement on it, but we had a very similar candle right over here, right? And typically you want your shooting stars to not even go into the previous day's body. Like, it would be better if that candle, the bottom of the red was like right where this arrow was touching. I know you really have to like squint at your screen right now, I'm sorry. Especially if some of you are watching on your phones, but if you got on the big screen, you can kind of see what I'm saying. So similar price action to this candle. It didn't play out then. We're going to see if it plays out. It is a larger shooting star than this one over here. So that's a bearish candle on the daily for the US 10-year. It is overbought on the RSI. I think this is due for a pullback. It could definitely go to 5% and higher, but for right now, I think a pullback could be in the cards. And then we also have the US 2-year. That's a bearish engulfing candle printed today. It's spent the last 2 weeks pretty much rejecting this 5.2% level. So this is another bond / treasury, just call it a treasury, that is unable to break above resistance right now. Eventually this probably could also break that 5% level and stay above it because it's like an ascending triangle. But this is like the apex area, right? It's either you break above these highs and this breaks out and goes further, or it breaks this trend line, which is currently testing right now, and then maybe dips quite a bit to the 200-day moving average. So it's kind of the first sign of bearishness in the 2-year and the 10-year yields that we've seen in a little bit. And then when you look at on the flip side, we look over to the 20+ year Treasury bond ETF, TLT. I'm sure a lot of you have been looking at this. It's just been falling off a cliff. Like if you go to the weekly time frame, it's just been going straight down. It's got I think it's got the highest volume. Yeah, it's got the highest volume ever right now, and it's pretty much matching the lows right before the Great Recession. The Great Recession, not the Great Recession. So it's getting very close to that, and it's like it's at its final support. So this could be an area for this to get a little bit of a dead cat bounce, which kind of gets it's a very confusing bond market. Like if we take a look at SHI, which is actually I have a few more at the bottom here, which is the 1 to 3 year Treasury bond ETF. You got 3 bounces over here at 81, getting close to the supply line. If we want to take a look at corporate bonds, I don't know, I think it's HYG is the ticker. Yeah, these are high yield corporate bonds. Same thing here, that triangle breakdown I looked at on the stream a couple weeks ago, that played out. But then today, we went and got some insane, very crazy volume on this inside bar candle. Like that is the highest volume. I'm not going to go further than 2018, but it's the highest volume since 2018 in one day. So what's happening in the bond market is also very interesting. To talk about some other markets before we head back into stocks, we've got the dollar currency index. Again, this also looks like it could be set up for a pullback. These were a lot of factors I talked about a couple weeks ago in the stream when I was warning about this dip in the market. These are all the factors. Like the 10-year was breaking out. The dollar currency was also breaking out above this 105 level. Now, since they've broken out, they've had nice moves, and now they're looking to pull back. All right, you have classic bearish divergence on the daily, on the MACD, and on the RSI if you really zoom in. You got a shooting star candle, I think on, what was it, Monday? On Tuesday. Yesterday, sorry, you got a shooting star candle pretty much. And if we like really zoom out over here, the big test will be to see how it reacts to that trend line, okay? The Hang Seng Index had a pretty rough day on Tuesday. It was down 3%. And yesterday it actually printed close to a bullish hammer candle. It's got some potential classic bullish divergence. So maybe Chinese stocks could get a dead cat bounce here. We take a look at gold. This was not what you want to see a falling wedge do, quite frankly. That's your 200-day moving average. And then also the breakout test of the wedge. I genuinely thought this was going to break out and go higher. I did. And it did the complete opposite. It broke down from the wedge, and now it's much lower. So really interesting movements across the board. You also have something like XLE, which got close to testing this ascending triangle breakout. Couldn't do it, and now it's at the 200-day moving average. You've seen energy stocks take this dip in the last, like they were actually holding up pretty well compared to the SPY and the Qs up until like pretty much this week. And then on the week right now, you're down 5% on the XLE. It's probably one of the worst performing sectors of the week. So we're finally starting to see changes in the market. I'm going to start off with the small caps. Okay, we're going to go over to the overall indices now. We're going to start with the small caps. This is not great, okay? I don't know why I didn't talk about this last night, but the Russell 2000 broke down from this triangle yesterday. So even if we do get a dead cat bounce in the market right now on the SPY and the Qs, all this could simply do is go to retest that, retest the breakdown, and then sell off more. There could be more bleeding for small caps. All right. You just broke down from a triangle you've been in since August of last year on the Russell 2000. You're still above major support at 163, which is good, but that's a very big pattern that you just broke down from. So we will see. All right, let's talk about the two names that everybody wants to talk about, the SPY and the Qs, all right? So we hit the 200-day SMA, like I talked about at the beginning of the stream. What now? We also have classic bullish divergence on the daily. There's a couple other variables in play here. Let's pull out the fibs. I think AK mentioned this. We're pretty close to also the 382 Fibonacci retrace, which is this level over here that also perfectly lines up with that. You can see this white zone over here, the top of that white zone, and the reason why I have that zone is because of, take a look at this high over here from May 1st, this high from February, this high from June, these lows from June of 2021. So this whole entire area over here, okay, where I just made that yellow box, is your key support. If this is simply going to be a pullback in the market, you know, a lot of people are talking about like that cup and handle look to things on the weekly time frame. This should be the area where you reverse. This should be the extent to which your handle, let's make this draw this out a little bit better. I'm going to draw this roughly. This should be the extent to which your handle has formed. Any lower than this, and I could genuinely see us falling back down into the 300s on the SPY. All right. You already broke the 430 level, which is pretty key on the weekly. Take a look at these lows, these highs, these recent lows. You broke that. If this is going to be a handle, if this hidden bullish divergence on the weekly is going to play off, all that's going to be a good time. What you'd probably want to see is holding these gains and maybe getting a little bit more of a gain over the next 2 days to finish up the week, get a weekly hammer candle, and then starting to reverse to the upside. But any lower than this, and I think the idea of a cup and handle is invalid. Okay. So how am I looking at the market right now? Very short term, I am switching back to bullish, and I know that's kind of counterproductive to the two short swings I dropped yesterday, one in premium, one outsider premium. But again, those are two names, two swings, and if this level doesn't hold, I think those both will play out very easily. Okay, it was Microsoft for premium. I'm not going to show the actual chart. And then it was also, because it has all the levels on it, but it was also Google outside premium. And the short swings are not starting off well. Probably could have timed it better, to be honest, but where's the stop loss? Stop loss on Google is literally a 5% loss, and that's if it breaks above highs of the year. If it fails to break above highs of the year, even if it retests like 139, it gets so close to the stop loss. Trust me, a lot of people are going to be looking at all these large caps as they're rallying right now to potentially double top. It could literally almost get to the stop loss. Like if you really zoom here, the stop loss is just inches above the high of the year. This could rally very close to the stop loss, maybe even get stop hunted, get like a little bit of a higher high, get triple classic bearish divergence on the daily. It's possible. But if it cannot break above those highs, that's your second top confirming the bearish cipher on the daily, the rising wedge. That's why I was thinking, okay, this is the one place where I'd be comfortable looking at Google as a short. And if it doesn't work out, it's only a 5% loss. And then maybe it turns into a long with the cup and handle on the daily. That's the idea of those two short swings I put out yesterday. Okay? But we're going to put those aside for right now. Those are just fail safes for what's happening. Okay? Those are the fail safes. If this dead cat bounce turns into a bear flag and we break lower and Google and Microsoft can't make higher highs of the year for 2023, those should play out. If they do make higher highs and this bounce continues, they'll fail. There'll be small losses. But then it sets up a whole entire new wave of long side swings that I can put out. So I'm putting out two short side swings just as fail safes. If they don't work out, probably switching back to the long side swings, then we can get the cup and handle on the weekly. With all that being said, all right, as long as we hold above this little yellow zone that I just drew right there, because of all the levels that are right at that level, and then of course we go over to the SPX on the daily as well. You have the trend line that a lot of people are looking at as well. You have this major trend line. You want to look at all this as just one pattern. You're at your trend line of the pattern. There's a lot of support here in the market. Retail traders know that. Probably even amateur retail traders know that, because it's not that complicated to draw this trend line. It's not that complicated to look at your Webull, which probably has a 200-day moving average on it. I haven't looked at Robinhood, but they probably have stuff like that too now. Amateur retail traders know that. Professional retail traders, if that's even a thing, know that. And real professional traders know that as well. So everybody knows this. The market is out of support right now. It's not a surprise. It is out of support. It's obvious. As long as we hold it, I'm switching back to bearish. Sorry, no. I've been bearish since we broke down from that triangle. I'm switching back to bullish, all right? So I've been bearish since we broke down from that triangle. So first time on stream, I'm saying I'm switching back to bullish on the markets unless that breaks. So as long as we hold this, whether it's for 2 days or if we just don't break it and we go rally to new all-time highs, I'm back to bullish. The second we break this level, I'm right back to bearish, okay? That's how I'm looking at playing a dead cat bounce. And guess what? If I'm wrong and it's not a dead cat bounce and it's actually the bottom, it doesn't matter because I'm still bullish above this zone. So I can have the idea in the back of my head, right? This is just trading psychology. I can have the idea in the back of my head that even if we rally here, it's still a downtrend. We're still making lower lows. We have not hit the pattern completion zone of this bullish bat, right? To get down to that, you'd have to hit 410, right? So to play out some larger structures, there could be more selling, and we have not bounced enough to call this a reversal. So yes, I'm looking at this as a dead cat bounce, but that does not mean I'm averaging into shorts as we go higher. It means I'm actually going to be bullish on this dead cat bounce until we break under this zone. All right, now here's the thing. If in a week we end up developing a bear flag like that, then yeah, I'll probably switch back to bearish before we break the zone. But if you can see in a lot, apart from today, where I was able to get like 60-something% on SPY calls, if you can see in the live tradings from like the past week or two, I've been primarily trading puts. Most days I've been trading puts and it's been working, right? Because the market's been going down. Probably going to go back towards day trading calls now as I'm switching back to bullish short term. So I hope all that back and forth made sense. But basically, I'm short term bullish as long as we hold this zone. And then the second we break that yellow zone you see on the chart, I'm going back to shorting the market. And that could probably be a much nicer short than the dip we just got, even though it was pretty good. So that's really what I'm looking at to continue the bullish thesis for the short term. We get onto the 4-hour chart. You also have classic bullish divergence, just like you do on the daily. If you go over to the 1-hour chart, this is something I looked at in the morning live trading today. You broke out of this downsloping channel you've been in for pretty much the first week of this month and of the quarter. So on this rally, your next major resistance is going to be probably 430. You have a little bit of turbulence at 426, which are these lows, and then 430. I even talked about that 430 level on the weekly. If this turns into a larger rally, then 438 is a gap fill that is yet to be filled. I'm going to go back over to the 4-hour chart for 1 second. You can see I have this smaller 1-hour downsloping channel. If we go over to the 4-hour, there's a larger breakout in play over here as well. All right, on the 4-hour chart, you're also testing a breakout of this wedge you've been developing since we put in our highs. So these are all things I'm keeping an eye on. If you want to take a look at the QQQ as well, actually, it hasn't really broken. Like if we look at SPY, the major level it broke down was 430, the same level I'm talking about. You see this blue zone over here. The Qs have outperformed the SPY in that regard, that they're still matching their lows. The SPY actually pretty much went to this area relative to what the chart looks like, not the actual price, obviously, because it's a different chart. But relative to its lows from August and June, the Qs pretty much stayed at them, while the SPY broke under those lows from August and June. So the Qs technically haven't even really broken down from that yet. So this pattern is already played out, but if you want to just look at the QQQ right now as a zone, as a rectangle, it would pretty much be this. And all that matters, right, is which way that this rectangle breaks out. Whether it's above 388 or if it's below 350. So the Qs are as rough as they have sold off since the end of August in the past month. And I'm saying rough, but it was a 5-6% decline. Not even a technical correction. you're still in a range on the QQQ. And that's why you've seen some of these large cap names hold up better than a lot of other sectors you see in the S&P 500. All right, if we go over to like lower time frames, this was another thing we were looking at on another stream, that trend line actually held. The big thing over here, what you're getting closer to, is going to be right pretty much this zone. This is going to be some resistance here. You have all of these highs from the past 3 weeks, and then that gap fill at 364. So that's pretty much probably your short-term level that you should go up to and at least test. All right. And that's pretty much my thoughts on the overall markets. One other name I wanted to talk about was AMC, which is quietly breaking out of this triangle it's been developing. All right, if we get on to like a 1 hour time frame, you can actually see that on this breakout of the triangle, we actually did have a little bit of a volume signature as well. So I am keeping an eye on AMC. Probably this is going to be 850 is going to be like the key level I'll be watching tomorrow. If it gets above 850, that's like it already broke the triangle. That would be like a horizontal resistance breakout as well. Maybe it takes it up to retest $9. We'll see. All right, Nvidia on the 1 hour. Let's delete this for a second. On the 1 hour, Nvidia has a little bit of like an inverse head and shoulders setup with hidden bullish divergence. Something like that. Meta on the daily is sitting right at the end of this triangle, had a bullish engulfing candle today. Apple wedge, we've been looking at this on the stream. I do see that you mentioned that in the chat. Zeke, you just also confirmed classic bullish divergence on the daily for Apple. If we go over to a 1 hour chart, you can see that it did break down from that massive triangle, but forget that for 1 second. I'm gonna draw a little bit of a zone here. This was the major breakdown zone. I was talking about this breakdown so much on the streams, it played out very nicely. But now you're back up to it. If you can get above 174 in Apple, right? And there's not much until 177. So maybe finds its way back into the triangle if it clears above 174 with confirmation. AMD on the 1 hour, very similar to Nvidia, has an inverse head and shoulders. Right there. Tesla, this was a beautiful setup from earlier today. I was watching this in the live trading, but I was in SPY calls already. You see this 254 level, it broke above it right around 10:30, back tested it, and just ripped through the rest of the day. It was a really nice setup. And then again, if we zoom out, it's pretty much filling this gap down from September 21st, but it still has this inverse head and shoulders left to it, not only on the daily, but also on the weekly. Major inverse head and shoulders. Fisker, unfortunately underperforming today, went back down to the 200-day moving average, down 7%. It's a very rangy range. It's just going sideways, so not much update there. SPHR, we were looking at this on the stream. It did drop down to 38.72. This is the big sphere in Vegas. I'm sure a lot of you have seen with the screen on it. It's trading in between 38.72 and 43.70. It did get a bounce off 38.72 earlier today, and then it got a little bit of like a bull flag breakout with some hidden bullish divergence on the 1 hour. And again, very similar to that AMC breakout on the 1 hour, you got a little bit of a volume signature into the close. Another name, AI. I still would like to see 2050 because it would just be such a technical area with support in a PCZ. But if we're going to go over to the 4 hour on AI and forget about the daily for a second, because again, it could rally up more and then eventually get down there later. We're going to go over to the 4 hour on AI. I'm just trying to throw a bunch of random ideas out there. What it pretty much has done is it broke out of this falling wedge, and then it actually back tested the wedge, and then is also working on a double bottom at 23.44. So these are all names that are pretty much sitting on my watches right now. I can drag this over and you can see all these orange names over here. So just wanted to run through all of them for all of you. It's pretty much what I'm focusing on apart from the overall markets intraday. And yeah, oil. go over to the daily. This is an oil services ETF, but I mean, this was a top that I called. I'm just going to say it straight up. We talked about this on the stream. I wonder what crude oil looks like. Let's take a look at that. I have it here. Was it WTI? No, what's the crude oil? It's CL, maybe? Yeah. Look at crude oil futures, like, look at the same thing. Like, this fell 6% today. It was a pretty interesting setup. Everybody talking about oil going crazy, and I was like, hey guys, 93 is resistance. Just saying, I know you have all your fundamental things, and yes, fundamentals are important. News overrides technicals all the time, but all this hype was going into oil. It's going to keep going, it's going to keep going, and I'm like that one guy in the corner of the room. Where's this meme? Oh my gosh, I'm making a meme right now. I am making a meme for you. All right, this was me. Alright, it's going to be a quality meme for all of you. Hold up, let's see if I can. Alright, this was me, guys and girls. This was me. That guy right there was me. I was like, hey, oil has resistance right over here. Me in the corner of the room, like, they don't know oil has resistance at 93, and then boom, hits it, drops 10%. But yeah, technicals for the win. All right, so yeah, that's pretty much what happened today. Hope it was a good update. I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing a night stream tomorrow night, but I will be doing the morning live trading and premium. Yeah, I did 2 weeks, not 2 weeks, I did 2 days this week for everybody. So tomorrow morning is just going to be premium only, but the recording, as per usual, will be posted on YouTube once I'm done. If I don't stream tomorrow night, I just want to remind you, you guys have seen the live tradings now, okay? Off the top of my head, I think there's been like 2 days. I think I've done 13 of them. I think there's been like 2 days where I was red. You can go fact check that. I genuinely don't remember. But I do know for a fact that in the last 10 days, in the last 10 trading days, I only have 2 red trading days. And I pretty much live traded all those days except Fridays. So those results speak for themselves. You can go see what happened this morning on the SPY calls. If you're interested in it, 35% off. That sale is ending this week, probably on Friday at the close. It's the pin chat, wap.com. wap.com/championvibe. Yeah, you can see my hair's messed up. That's why I'm wearing the hat right now. But wap.com/championvibe. 35% off with the code CHAMP is back if you want to join. If you want to just see what's in it before you join, you can now do that. There's a 1-day free trial. You can go get the 1-day free trial. If you want to go see the live trading tomorrow and you're not sure if you're fully ready to commit to premium, you can always use that 1-day free trial to see the live trading tomorrow, and there's so much more. Weekly watch list. We now have a mods chat. Let's pull this up. We have the chat with a bunch of great ideas from everybody. These are the swing trades. These are the options. Sometimes apart from live trading. Today, actually, the new thing I'm going to be doing is for the people who can't be in the live trading, they're working or whatever. I'm also pinging what I'm doing in the live trading, just like the general things where I'm entering and exiting over here. We have the mods chat with Papa Strata, Zeke, and AK showing a bunch of different things. The weekly watch list and the Bullseye bot. So all of this stuff is in there. And more to come. More cool things to come. I'm always thinking of ideas of what I can add to it. And yeah, wap.com/championvibe. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you for watching the stream. I appreciate all the support. Let me just read out some chats. I'm not going to go back and look at all the charts, but let's see what everybody's thinking, so you can all go talk about in the Discord. AK says, inside day on SPY. Max Carlson, does NVIDIA has inside bar look but opposite of Tesla? IM says, vibes hit AMD for 100% today. IM says, Terry looking like a bullish cipher. AK oil flush today. Oh, we talked about that. Zeke says, AMC all-time highs is in the 700s because of the split is so wild. Zeke says, Apple's daily candles are very interesting. Doji surrounded by the same strong bullish candle. Glenn to Glenn's going to be at work tomorrow, so good luck live trading. Have fun at work. If you enjoy your work, I hope you do. That's also very important. Whatever you're doing, I'm entering the stage where I'm graduating college in, I don't know, like 8 months, and I'm really trying to figure out like what to do with my day-to-day life. Of course, what I'm doing with the whole Discord and everything is going to always be a primary part of that. But when I don't have college, there's going to be some time for me to figure out what else I want to do. So I'm definitely trying to figure that out. Zeke says took a starter and SPY calls today for a swing. All right, what's up, Dave? Thank you all for being in the stream. Have a great night. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you tomorrow morning in the live trading.
Dans mon esprit tout divague, je me perds dans tes yeux, je me noie dans la vague de ton regard amoureux. Je ne veux que ton âme divagant sur ma peau, une fleur, une femme dans ton cœur, Roméo. Je ne suis que ton nom, le souffle lancinant de nos corps dans le sombre, animé lentement. Et la nuit, je pleure des larmes qui coulent le long de mes joues. Je ne pense à toi que quand le jour sombre, que s'abattent sur moi mes tristes démons. Dans la vie me s'enfont, aime-moi jusqu'à ce que les roses fanent, que nos âmes sombrent dans les limbes profondes. Et la nuit quand tout est sombre, je te regarde danser. Je résonne en baiser le long de ta poitrine, perdu dans l'avalanche de mon cœur égaré. Qui es-tu? Où es-tu? Par les pleurs, par les rires de ton ombre effarée. Je résonne en baiser. Dans mon esprit tout divague, je me perds dans tes yeux, je me noie dans la vague de ton regard amoureux. Je ne veux que ton âme divagant sur ma peau, une fleur, une femme dans ton cœur, Roméo. Je ne suis que ton nom, le souffle lancinant de nos corps dans le sombre, animé lentement. Et la nuit quand tout est sombre, je te regarde danser.